So, Ryan, what I'd like to do next is talk a little bit about firearms. I saw on the paperwork that you said that you do have firearms at home. What type of guns do you have?
Oh, got a lot. I have several that I carry. A couple shotguns, a couple rifles. I've got some AR-15s that I have set up for like how I use at work. So.
Yeah, okay. What are the safety procedures that you use for all those guns?
Well, honestly, it's just me in the house. So there isn't a lot of safety features. I don't own a safe. I've got a couple that are always loaded and always ready, usually near the bed or on the nightstand. The stuff that I carry often, those are always loaded so that I can just grab whichever one I'm going to carry that day and head out the door.
Okay. Do you ever lock up or secure the firearms like when kids come over, family comes over, anything like that?
Yeah, usually what I do is I would just kind of move everything that's out into like a closet or put it on a high shelf or something like that. I do have some like Pelican cases, like hard cases, that I put under the bed, and those do have like holes to be able to lock, but I never put locks on them. Sometimes I'll just throw them under the bed in a case.
Yeah. So it sounds like under certain circumstances, then you do kind of step up the safety, step up the security a little bit. Is there a particular reason why in some situations you do that?
Oh, well, like I said, when it's just me, I'm not worried about it. But when there's other people there that may or may not be familiar with how to handle a firearm safely, I would hate for there to be, some sort of accident or something. And then also, firearms are valuable, so if I'm going to have a lot of people around, I don't want that kind of stuff to be out in the open where people have access to it.
Okay. Are there other circumstances or other times where you think firearm safety should be increased, or you think it'd be even more important to have greater safety?
Like what?
Well, I mean, what are your thoughts, for instance, about, say, someone who is drunk? Should someone drunk have easy access to firearms?
No, that's a good point. I mean, obviously, if you're impaired or not in the right state of mind, you probably should have access to firearms.
Okay, so if you have some sort of impairment of some kind, like not able to make decisions clearly, not in the right state of mind, that would be dangerous.
Sure. I always try, if I'm going to go out drinking or whatever, I always make sure I leave my firearm home and I don't have it with me.
Oh, okay. So you don't even carry when you're going out drinking.
Sure.
That's sort of that's interesting. So you plan ahead, kind of like having a designated driver. You also...
Right.
Okay, that's interesting. What about situations like someone who's suicidal or having suicidal thoughts? What are your thoughts about them having easy access to firearms?
I mean, it's not something I had thought about much, but I imagine, just kind of like what we talked about, you're not in the right state of mind. You're not thinking clearly. So, removing something like that could potentially cause harm, if you were not in a good place, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, part of the reason I ask is because, we've talked a little bit about how you've been having some suicidal thoughts recently, and I'm wondering how kind of your perspective there then applies to you when it comes to safety and suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, again, I hadn't really thought about that, but it makes sense that, maybe when I'm in that dark spot that I need to somehow make access, less available, so that it's not so easy to just, because right now, since I have stuff on my nightstand or propped up against the bed, it is probably too readily available for the state of mind.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of does strike me that you're saying that probably there is sort of a safety concern when someone's sort of high risk or they're not in the right state of mind, and that is something you've been experiencing lately. But you say you haven't kind of thought of it for yourself. You haven't kind of thought, oh, I've been having these thoughts. Maybe I should take some safety precautions.
Yeah, but now that you bring it up, it definitely makes sense. I guess the issue I have is, where I don't have a safe, I'm not sure how I would approach that. Because I don't really feel comfortable, giving something.
Right.
I mean, I have friends that I could trust with that, but it would feel weird not having my guns. I mean, that's been a part of me and who I am for so long. I wouldn't really feel comfortable, giving those to somebody.
Yeah.
So I'd have to come up with something else that
would
work.
Yeah, no, a lot of people feel that way. They don't really feel comfortable giving their guns to somebody else, and at the same time they realize something needs to be done. So you don't have safes. What are other safety measures that you've heard of, like friends or family members, other gun owners have used that maybe don't necessarily involve safes or getting rid of the guns?
Well, I mean, pretty much every gun you buy now comes with a trigger lock.
Yeah.
So something like that could work. Also I mentioned I have those hard Pelican cases that I store my guns in most of the time anyway. Those do have the ability to lock.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's something where I could lock them with that,
Yeah.
and then maybe give that key to somebody else.
Yeah.
So that I was still in possession of the firearms but didn't have access to them. With something like that,
I mean, those seem like pretty good ideas. I mean, what are your thoughts about them?
I mean, it would still be difficult to not be able to grab my carry gun when I go out the door. That's a part of my checklist when I leave my house.
Right.
So, but I understand that at the end of the day, this is to save my life, and that would be the whole reason of carrying it, leaving the house anyway. So,
Right. Yeah.
I think that's probably something I could live with.
Okay. Okay. Do you have enough gun locks for all of your guns and the Pelican case? Like, do we need to get you some extra gun locks or anything like that?
I think I probably have enough, but I've never had everything locked up at once, so I'd have to check.
Well, maybe what we do, I've got actually a whole bunch of them in my closet. Maybe I could just give you extra, take them home. If you don't need them, you could just bring them back. And
Yeah, if you'd be willing to do that.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, absolutely. And with the Pelican cases, so locking up, you said give the key to someone else. Do you know who that person would be that you would want to give the key to?
Yeah, I've got some really close friends that live near me, so that if I did need access to them, I could.
Okay.
I could still get them, but that I wouldn't have readily available access without having to go to somebody else first.
Yeah. Okay. And do they kind of have a sense of what's been going on lately? Like if you're like, hey, here's the key to my Pelican safe so I don't have access to my guns, would they kind of know what's up?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
we've talked a little bit, so.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I think that sounds like a pretty good plan. Would you say that's a pretty good plan for us to follow?
I think it is. I think it meets the intent, and it's a good compromise. It's something that I could live with.
Okay. Okay, well, why don't we just jot this down so that we make sure we're on the same page, and I'll go grab you a couple extra cable locks here.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.